Gender. Identity is kind of like a crab shell. You can't live without one if you're a crab. It's an interface with the outside world. It's a tool. It's protection. And it's also your prison. If you keep growing, if you keep getting bigger, sooner or later, you have to break out. But then you're naked in the world, an easy target for predators. So without even thinking, you start growing a new shell, this one bigger and thicker, until sooner or later, you grow a shell so big, so thick, that you can't break out, and you die inside. Everyone is at war with their gender. For some, it's a guerrilla warfare. For others, nuclear weapons at dawn. I guess you could say I was cisgender as a teen. I wanted to conform. I wanted to belong. Then women's liberation came to town. I had to be house-trained, of course, learn to wash dishes and sweep the stairs. And as time went on, it would get deeper. I would learn things about myself, things I had to change. But my first experience of women's liberation was as a liberation for me, too. I didn't have to be John Wayne anymore. Lucky thing, because I was shit at it. Suddenly, breaking gender rules was more than okay. It was cool. It was right on. Gay liberation intensified this. If you could be queer in front of the entire world, I could be brave too. And trans, one more giant fuck you to the whole gender prison. We should be comrades. We should be allies. We should be friends. And we are. But friends can fall out. History is binary in terrible ways. Women have reason to fear men, reason to fight for their own spaces, meetings, organizations. It's not self-determination that tears us apart. It's injustice. Now everything has changed, and nothing has. Is there any such thing as a real woman now? Was there ever? We are at the beginning of a new age of possibilities, but thousands of years of history do not go away with the stroke of a pen. The war goes on. We carry the enemy on our backs. Gender identity is not a home base. It's a prison, or at best a day release. It's a compromise between what we're expected to be and what we could be. Gender identity is a war fought on the battleground of our bodies. There is an element of actual, real reality to it. We do, after all, have to reproduce. We have to make babies and raise them up so they can make more babies. But for all the love that grows up out of this, the rules that are laid down on top of it are twisted through with power, property, ownership, gender identity. Think of it as a brand, like a game of cowboys where you are the cow. You're penned in, you try to escape, but they throw you down, take the iron out of the fire and burn it into your flesh. You fight your way free, but you carry the scars. And the scars become who you are, your story, a record of all you have endured, all you have accomplished, a red badge of courage. And yours is not the only one. You realize now you are standing in a field of red. We are many, and we each have a story to tell. Sometimes rights intersect. Sometimes they collide. History is binary in complicated ways. We don't all fit together like a finely crafted jigsaw puzzle. One love, one struggle, yes. But unity is not a God-given state of grace. We have to fight for it. Fight to protect each other. Fight to understand each other. And sometimes fight against each other. Not as enemies, but fearlessly, like comrades, hungry for the truth, no matter how painful it is to learn. We are on the side of human liberation. We welcome debate. You have a right to be wrong. You have a right to make mistakes. We each have an obligation to be brave, to speak our mind, to dare to go against the tide. It's how we learn from each other. It's how we become strong. It's how we become kind. Supposing I thought of you as a man of courage, a man who knew his own mind, who could look people in the eye and say, "This is who I am." A man who could face danger for what he believes in. a man of commitment, down for the long haul, a man who could fight his own corner and more, someone you could count on to take your side when you're facing injustice. Supposing I thought of you as a pioneer. We're only just ankle deep into this new frontier, but you've already jumped in, and you're swimming for the opposite shore. You say that I can't be your friend unless I accept that you are a real woman. How can I answer that when I don't believe there is any such thing? We have our biology like every other animal. Then the lies are laid on top of it. Gender is not an identity, it's a straitjacket, and you are fighting your way out of it. How could I not respect that? How could I not fight alongside you just as I would any other comrade? So much of human sexuality we don't think, only feel, and then the feelings think for us. From the pill to the knife to genetic engineering, what's going to be left of normal in 100 years? The future is bright and terrifying. Supposing I thought of you as a woman of courage, a woman who knew her own mind, who could look people in the eye and say, "This is who I am." A woman who could face danger for what she believes in. A woman of commitment, down for the long haul. A woman who could fight her own corner and more. Someone you could count on to take your side when you were facing injustice. Supposing I thought of you as a pioneer. We're only just ankle deep into this new frontier, but you've already jumped in, and you're swimming for the opposite shore. Supposing either way, what difference would it make?